Hey there, good morning. Hey, so can I just see a show of hands? Who was here yesterday? Okay, so about that. See if we've got a bunch of new faces though. So real quick, for those of you that were here yesterday, I'm going to do a real quick housekeeping thing since I did the same spiel. My name's Connor O'Malley. I'm an elementary education major, minor in science. I'm also the president of the student org EDIT, which stands for Education, Innovation, Technology. So if you like what you see here, or if you want to learn more, go ahead and Facebook us at EDIT UWW, or tweet us at EDIT UWW, or you can also email us at edituww@gmail.com. We were lucky enough to be the ones hosting this conference this year, so we're really excited. So let me introduce Justin Stewart. He's a teacher over at Lynx. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. I've had the pleasure of working with him for the last 9 months, and I could not think of a better person to be speaking this morning. He's a leader in the classroom, in the school, and in the community. Give it up for Justin.
All right. Thank you, Connor. Like Connor said, I do teach at Lincoln Inquiry Charter School here in town. If you're not familiar with it, we're right on Prince Street. Has anybody who's in attendance today ever been over to Lynx? All right. Anybody ever been in my classroom? Okay. All right. I teach 4th and 5th grade. We're a multi-age inquiry-based school. I will get into a little bit of that as we go through the presentation. I'll give you a little history about me and why I'm standing before you today. I'm an alumni of Whitewater, so I bleed purple. I had the fortune to kind of have my path guide me here through athletics. I played baseball here and was able to use that as kind of my motivation to continue to go through school and eventually get a degree. Are you guys familiar with Johnny Lechner, the guy who stayed in school for like 13 years and I think he's like out pursuing like acting and things like that. Well, I feel like all of us have a little bit of him in us, you know. We don't exactly know like what our path is and where we want to go, and you know, you eventually have to stop taking all the gen ed classes and choose your major. A couple reasons why I think I chose education. One, my brother was an awesome kid, so he's 7 years younger than me, and I was his idol. Everything I did, he had to do, but he was the most creative and imaginative kid I've ever met. My mom, kind of getting a little emotional, this is weird. I'm the first one in my family to get a 4-year degree. My mom had some adversity. She was like, I think it's like 9 credits short of getting a teaching degree. So it was at that point where I kind of did some reflecting and things like that, and I was like, okay, how can I find meaning in this? You know, like I feel like I'm a jock. That was kind of like how I labeled myself. You know, we don't want to do that as we work through schools, but that's kind of how I felt I was. I was just, you know, sports is kind of my thing. And I said, okay, well, if I work in schools, you know, I can coach, I can be around kids, I can hopefully find those kids that are like my brother Kyle, who inspired me to do this, and then hopefully, you know, show my mom that, you know, it can't be done. All right, so I'm in my 8th year teaching at Lynx. One of my favorite things about teaching there is a conversion from a traditional school to a charter school. Now, we are an instrumentality, which means that we don't have free autonomy to do what I feel like doing. I can't just throw out the curriculum, throw out the standards. I'm still accountable for the things that the district wants me to do. But it was within that I had a small window in time to explore non-traditional type teaching. So if you've been in my classroom, it's not as sit and get, although there are times where you do have to talk with your kids and do direct teaching because they need to hear these things because everyone needs to hear the same message at a certain point in time, okay? Through that, I really developed a passion for inquiry-based learning, personalized learning, some of these things that I've actually been involved with Beth, if she's still here. We were partners on a personalized learning grant the last year, which is where I actually met Connor. I wish he was still here. Those of you who know Connor, he's a really caring, smart young kid. So he's somebody who Beth keeps talking about getting me in your professional network. He's a guy that you want to do the same thing with. And I'm guessing many of you have the same attributes that he does. So I'm excited to share with you kind of my values, my beliefs, some cool websites that I've discovered over my 7+ years of teaching. I want to mention one more thing. I'm married to a beautiful woman called Ashley. Not called, that is her name. She's Ashley. We have a daughter who's 18 months old, Tenley. She is my pride and joy. So my goal is that I can have a classroom that someday maybe she'll be able to attend, right? I'm looking much, much broader than that because we can affect what other people do as long as they do it in a professional way and continue to progress forward. So let's get into this. Some of you have already done this. Who's familiar with today's meet or any type of back channel conversation? Okay. How many of you have a device with you today? You all came out of the womb. You're like those digital natives, right? You all had your smartphone. So if you don't mind, you can either use the tiny URL on the bottom or you can use the complete one. But go in, sign in. You just have to make up you can pick it says pick a nickname. Use your first name. I use Justin. Many people have done this already. The purpose of this is as I'm talking, instead of I don't mind if you whisper over and you ask somebody a question. I'm not going to be offended if you turn and talk to somebody when I'm speaking. But this is a place for you to throw questions up. I'll occasionally look at it. If I say something that hits home for you and you want me to talk more about it or something you disagree with, you want me to clarify it, whatever. Put your thoughts down here. You can have a little discussion with yourself. Post things on there. If you think, hey, I've heard of that website before, and this one's very similar to it. Check this out, Justin. All right? So put anything you want on there. It's for you to observe, collaborate, talk, whatever you want to do. Okay? So if you have a smartphone with you, go to that. And first question was, where are you from? Where's your hometown? Okay? So I'm from Alaska, which is next to the cross. I don't think I put that, so let me add that to the list here. All right, my hometown is Alaska. Anybody familiar with Alaska? All right, okay. La Crosse was my first college choice. I'm so glad I didn't go. All right? All right? Wonderful school, but I owe everything to this university, so. Okay, this is a moment for all of you to reflect. All right, so take a look at this slide. So look left, look to your right. There's a pretty good chance that one of those two people will no longer be teaching within the first 5 years. Teaching is difficult. It is something that you don't leave your job, you don't leave it at work, it's something you take with you 24/7, all right? So, and the demands now, I don't know how many of you are politically active and following some of the things that have happened in Wisconsin in particular, but it's been volatile at times. There's been a ton of adversity. What has happened is divided families and schools and communities. But I'm here to say that's still a great job. If it's your passion, if it's your dream, if it's what you want to do, I know it'll get better, all right? It's still a great place to go. Schools are an amazing place to be. I was a kid that school wasn't always my favorite place. Anybody have any rough times in school growing up? You didn't always walk the straight and narrow? Yeah? Like in 7th grade for me, that was the time my little teenage mustache grew in. And I thought I was a boss. Yeah, this I'm cool, okay? Now, let me preface this by saying I had great parents, okay, a good group of friends, but that year was really a test for all those people who thought that, hey, this kid's going somewhere. I think I got between 40 and 50 detentions in middle school, okay? Most of them for talking out of turn, not bringing my homework in, being the last one in from recess. Some of those things, nothing malicious or like that, but it challenged me, all right? Then I went through a little bit of growth and I saw the light in the tunnel and I got into high school, all right? And those of you who are just out of high school a few years ago, if you have certain high school teachers, many of them are hands off. You just show up, you receive the content, you do the work, you get your grade. Well, I had a sophomore biology teacher, I won't say his name, but he was one of those people. And I was one of those kids that was okay, I'll test to see how much you care about me. And his 8th hour, so I put my head down one day and fell asleep. He said nothing. And then that became a habit, that became my routine. So for one quarter, I think it was third quarter of my sophomore year of school, every 8th hour, it was my nap time. It was get caught up on the sleep in which you didn't have before. And anybody want to guess what grade I received that quarter? No, one to see. Heck no. Oh yeah. Okay. So, why I mentioned those two stories, because school always isn't engaging for people. It wasn't engaging for me at times. You don't reach every kid, okay? I want to knock the sense out of some of you right now. You think you're going to solve the world. You can, and you will, but it's not going to be with every kid in every class every year, okay? Sometimes you don't see the investment you make in kids until years down the road. I'm an elementary teacher, okay? It is my belief that the things that kids learn from me and our culture in our classroom in our school don't pay dividends until they're far beyond my classroom, okay? And that can be said for my experience too, okay? So, you saw that previous slide. Do you see that as a challenge versus an opportunity? I think challenges are opportunities. Whenever you're faced with something that you don't see you can overcome, if you have the right mindset, a growth mindset, typically you find a way to overcome that. Are any of you familiar with Randy Pausch at all? Isn't he a Carnegie Mellon computer science teacher? Had pancreatic cancer, wrote a book. It's his last lecture. In it, he talks about these walls, brick walls. And in it, he said those walls were not there to keep him from doing something. It was to remind him of how hard he had to work to break through them to accomplish certain things, okay? Teaching, like I said before, well, in my opinion, the way you should do it is you don't show up, open the manual, give the content, test on Friday, and move on, okay? Check him out, all right? It's very inspirational. Read that. Has anyone ever seen this before? Okay. I'm going to be talking very simply on standardized testing and some of those things, okay? This is what that is, all right? Most kids are brilliant, all right? They're full of genius. But many of them are just little data points on a spreadsheet from whatever district assessment or state assessment or national assessment they give them, okay? This is many kids' situation, okay? I see one that will pass this test, okay? So I'm going to show you a few things that hopefully will allow you to find the genius and the leader in all kids, okay? I just spent the last 2 days on Cedar Falls, Iowa, at the University of Northern Iowa. Has anybody ever been through Iowa? All right? Beautiful, beautiful country, right? Weather driving home was terrible. It was raining, but the drive down, it was dark. But it appeared as if it was nice, okay? I got a chance to, a couple years ago, I stumbled across what's called a Leader in Me. And nowhere am I, we are not a Leader in Me school. I don't work for the Leader in Me, obviously, but I'll talk more about it. What it is taking the 7 habits of Stephen Covey's leadership, okay? All right, are you familiar with the 7 habits of highly effective people? Okay, if you aren't, check it out. It's common sense. Habit 1, be proactive. Take initiative, be responsible. No parent will argue with that. What are you teaching my kid? Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Have a plan, follow a schedule. Robin's not going to call me and say, hey, Mr. Stewart, what are you teaching Brennan? You mean you want her to have a plan and put first things first, like she's going to do her homework first and then she's going to play? Yeah. All right. And you've all procrastinated. I've procrastinated. I think it was my middle name for a really long time. In fact, I still do it. Laundry? Yeah. I do not put first things first. Okay? So anyway, I was there the last 2 days. I'm like full of energy, ready to move forward. So I've adapted this. I stole it. All right? Any great teacher, okay? Go into people's classrooms, beg, borrow, and steal everything you can. I'll repeat that. Beg, borrow, and steal everything that you can. Okay. Now, of course, if it says like don't reproduce this without express written consent, whatever that is, of course, I'm not implying that. Okay. But if somebody's got a cool poster, a cool way of communicating something, use it. Use it. Use it. Use it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Okay. So we're gonna play a game. All right. It's called valedictorian or dropout. I'll show you a picture. Hopefully, you know who that person is. The person's name will be on top. Okay. I've picked people. There was lots of choices. I picked a couple that I saw just on Thursday and a few from my own knowledge. And of course, you can go online and you can test my facts here. If I made a mistake, please go ahead and put it on the back channel. Okay, but like, actually, you know what? That person was not a dropout. They were a valedictorian. So let's begin. Okay, so it's called valedictorian or dropout. Okay, I've adapted it from the leader in me, Lonnie Moore. Okay. Lucille Ball. Go ahead, shout out. What do you think? Valedictorian or dropout? Pretty successful. She's way before my time. All right. All right. I love Lucy. Funny, right? Weird Al was right around my time. Okay. Anybody listen to Weird Al? That's one of those first cassette tapes I got that my parents didn't know I was listening to. The white stuff. It's based on what was that boy group way back in the day? No, it was way before Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Yes. There we go. You look about my age, yeah. So it's like the white stuff. You put it in your coffee and spread it on your toast. I love the white stuff. Maybe, right? So, all right, this is Weird Al, right? So there's a couple other ones that you don't want to be repeating out loud. All right, so valedictorian or dropout. You catching on? Hey. Now she sells like facial cream, and it's half my paycheck would have to go to it. So, valedictorian or dropout? Valedictorian. Wow. Bill Gates. Yeah, college dropout. You guys know his story, right? Conan O'Brien. Ever watch Conan? Dude is wicked smart, right? Wicked smart. Yeah, he had to be a valedictorian, right? There's no Richard Branson. Dropout. You guys know this story, right? Everyone's got a Facebook account, don't you? Come on, who's got a fake Facebook account? Come on, who's already been on it in the last 5 minutes? Hey, you got to get here, see Justin speak. This is awesome. This is great. I'm ready to conquer the world. All right. Yeah, he's a dropout. Alicia Keys, man, this girl can sing, right? Oof. Valedictorian or dropout? It's because she's got perfect teeth. Is that why you're saying that? She does. She's beautiful, right? All right, last one. Kevin Spacey. Usual Suspects in my top 5 movies of all time. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It's awesome. House of Cards, yes, I binge watched the House of Cards. Do not repeat this. You have to edit this out. I think it took me so I think there's been 3 seasons. I talked about Tenley, my daughter. I took paternity leave last year, so I was teaching 2 days a week, taking care of her 3 days a week. I watched most series on Netflix, including House of Cards. So season 3 came out I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago. I hate to admit, I think I finished it in 2 or 3 days. It was so bad that on school nights, I would wake up, middle of the night, couldn't sleep. I don't know if that was my unconscious speaking, and I'd watch an episode or 2, and 13 episodes later, I'm ready for season 4. So, yeah, he's a valedictorian. So. All right. I've mentioned the words leadership, encouragement, vision, values, empowerment. Okay. I talked about that crossroad that I had in my educational experience, and I still have it today. I mean, we all have those moments where we're asked, those gut check moments, hey, is this, what I want to do? So I hope you all sit here today still wanting to go into public education, or I guess if you choose parochial school, private. Is anybody in here a high school certification? Am I speaking to any high school teachers? All right. How about like middle school? That's like your niche. That's where you want to go. You want to deal with the teenage mustache Justin. You want to turn me around. I refused to shave that for months. We took a family trip to North Carolina. My cousin got married. I refused to shave it for the family pictures. My mom probably still is not very happy to this day. Elementary. All right, awesome. Anybody want to teach kindergarten? Oh, you're saints. I graduated in December of 06. I subbed in Jefferson-Whitewater, Fort Atkinson School Districts. I spent 1/2 day in kindergarten and vowed to never go back. Not because the kids weren't amazing and the school wasn't. I just didn't have the energy. I didn't have the skills to. It's like hoarding bees, you know. Like there's a YouTube video where they're has anybody seen this? It's cat herders. You seen that one? That's what it's like. It's like, you know, and I was like, you know what? I can just not pick up the phone when they're calling me for that. Okay. I'm going to talk about my why, my how, and my what. So the purpose, you know, what's my process, and what is the result I'm trying to get. Okay, so each day I show up, this is what I think about. And we're starting from the inside out. Many companies, many people start from, here's what I got, here's how I do it, here's why. I want you to think the opposite way. Why do you do what you do? What's your cause? What do you believe? What's your process? What are the actions you're going to take to make it happen? And what's the result? What do you want out of it? Okay? If you think that way, people will want to be and send their children to your classroom. Okay? So I want you to turn and talk. Okay? I hope you brought your voices today. All right? We're going to do a couple of things where I'm going to ask you to talk or get up and do something. All right? So what is your why, how, and what related to teaching? I'll give you just a minute to do that, okay? All right, and then I'll share with you mine, and you see if they match or they're opposite or whatever, okay? So take a minute to, if you don't know someone next to you, introduce yourself. It's okay to not have an answer if you're not quite sure yet. You're like me, you didn't know. Try to answer one of the questions, okay? All right? Any brave volunteers to share their why? What's their purpose? What's your cause? What do you believe? Anybody? First name? Stephen.
Kids to become excited about learning so much for the rest of their life.
I love it, man. All right. Engagement, fun. All right, that word. It's okay to use the word fun when describing your classroom. It doesn't mean like they're just doing whatever they feel like doing. There's no accountability. School should be fun. All right. It wasn't for me for many years. That is one of my ultimate goals, is to make it engaging and fun. So, great. First name?
My name is Kyra.
Kyra.
And I believe all students have strength, and I want to pull that strength up to the top and help them use it for maximum potential.
Awesome. Yeah. Every kid has genius within them. They're all a leader, right? That was well said.
So many kids nowadays say that they can't and think that they think of things they can't do instead of things they want to do. So I want to be that support system to show them that they can really do anything they want if they put forth the effort.
Don't we live in that society now where like it's focusing on all the things that we're not capable of doing, right? Grass is always greener, all that nonsense, right? Things we have in front of us, right? What makes us us? What makes us unique, all right? Let's go to the how. What's your process? How do you plan on achieving that why, that inner feeling that it gives you your purpose each and every day? In the back. Okay, yeah.
They have to trust you. They have to trust you and know that you care so much about them that you believe that they can be successful.
Yeah, we're in the people business, right? Yeah. You're not going to be buying a car from me or a house or the greatest software or a nice pair of shoes, right? We're all about relationships with our peers and our kids. Those kids who trust their teacher, I'll even use the word love. They know you love them, right? Whatever that means, right? They come to school ready to follow you, all right? Yeah.
I say give them opportunities too, and all your students are going to be a little bit different, so giving them different opportunities to show themselves that they can be successful and they can empower themselves.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to summarize it. That was great. Steven?
Continuing to learn and apply what we learn about our craft.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That continual education piece, right? I'll tell you what, you can continue your education in lots and lots of ways, okay? Doesn't mean you have to get your doctorate. I know we got a few people in the audience here, right? Okay, that's an amazing thing, but you can do lots and lots of continuing ed without ever stepping back on a college campus, right? Visit schools, talk with colleagues, get online, go to conferences, all right? And yes, of course, come back to Whitewater, you know, support the people that have gotten you that undergrad degree. Anybody else? Yeah.
Try different teaching strategies in your classroom. Not every child knows the same way. You should be able to present things in multiple ways and think outside the box and use all these new strategies.
Yeah, learning styles. Do you all know how you learn best? You think you know how you learn best? All right, let's raise your hand. Who's a tactile learner? You got to move around. You got to take notes. You got to be involved. You got to get up and have your hands in it. Okay. Who learns best auditory, by listening? All right. Visually, who's my visual learners? Okay. All right. Now, the fact of the matter is we learn in all of those ways, right? But we have a strength. We have one of those ways in which we prefer. Okay. Well said. And I'll talk a little bit about it, but that's something that, for me, I've really tried to emphasize the last few years. You know, you don't know what you don't know. I was told that after the third year teaching, I'd have it figured out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Show up, pull out my lesson plan from the year before, and there we go. Yeah. It's nothing like that, right? So, knowing your kids and how they learn best, and then what's most importantly is they knowing themselves and how they learn best, so they can be self-sufficient. They can show up and make those choices. It's best for them. And they can set their goals and they can achieve their goals. Or you can just kind of support and you can be that cheerleader. That's fun. That's really, really fun. All right, let's go to the what. We've covered why. What's your purpose? What's your process? What results do you want? What do you want from that? Want all kids to be in the 99 percentile on whatever district assessment it is? You want all kids to say, you're the greatest teacher they've ever had. Oh, that Mrs. Smith and Mr. Jones. They're the best. What do you want? Start here, Stephen, again.
I want them to have self-efficacy. Because if they believe in themselves, then there's nothing they won't be able to do.
Yeah, those soft skills, those 21st century skills, those things that you cannot measure, right, on a standardized test. Kids' work ethic, his confidence in himself, his ability to get along with his peers, grit. You all know people that got grit, right? Okay.
I want how the students are excited to learn.
Engagement, right? That's something that you can become engaged, right? But in terms of our classroom, it's those kids who actively listen, sometimes to a fault, right? They're the ones that want to say everything and do everything and be involved, right? You need engagement. Last one in the back.
I want to create global citizens who are able to think critically about the world around them and become lifelong learners and always question what's going on.
Yeah, the world is much bigger than just Whitewater, Wisconsin. I'll tell you what, you might find yourself in some classrooms where kids have not been outside of their hometown. Never been to an amusement park. Never been to a museum. Maybe never seen the ocean. Been on a plane. I have kids like that right now in my classroom. So depending on where you choose to go and your demographics, you might have that as being one of your big rocks, one of your big priorities. Okay, we're going to start from the inside out. Here's mine. I've highlighted a few key words. Create an engaged and vibrant community of leaders. Take ownership of their learning with imagination and creativity through self-awareness, individual goal setting, and a flexible learning environment. Okay? If you want to see that in action, please come spend time in room 115. Okay? I'll take any advice you've got, all right? I'm open to suggestions. Like I said before, when I was told 3 years, you got to figure it out. No way. You don't ever figure it out, okay? Here's my how. By creating a classroom experience where students' voice and choice is not only valued, but expected, okay? Kids are expected to be leading their day, knowing what the expectations are, what our learning goals are, how they learn, voicing all of those things, and then for me, I provide all kinds of choice, okay? Here's how I do it. Personalized learning, okay? Now, no way am I saying that I've got this figured out, okay? If you leave here today and this is something that you want to explore, I'm still doing it, okay? Depending what you read or who you talk to, personalized learning looks very, very different. Okay, you might even run into differentiated learning, individualized learning, okay? For me, it's all about voice and choice, okay? That's how I personalize my classroom, okay? Inquiry-based learning. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple websites that I use to cultivate this way of thinking. I talked about my brother Kyle, okay? He was the most inquisitive kid I've ever met, okay? We couldn't drive more than a block without him asking at least 10 questions, okay? And in many cases, the same one repeatedly. Why, and why, okay? Tapping in on kids' curiosities, all right? As kids get through school, you may share this opinion with me. Adults, we hammer the curiosity out of them. We hammer the imagination out of them. Eventually, they stop asking questions. Why? Because they show up. We tell them what to do, we tell them how to think, and we tell them how to do it. If you can do it my way, you get an A. Inquiry-based learning flips it on its head, okay? Kids are pilots of their own day, all right? They do have to have a framework in place. They have to be able to follow this. They have to have a researchable question and a guiding question, an essential question, whatever it is, okay? I'll talk more about it later, okay? I already mentioned student learning styles, okay? And we've already mentioned this too, engagement and motivation, all right? This is how I achieve my why, okay, and here's my what. This has already been said by many of you, okay? Here's my advice. You're going to feel all the outside pressures when you get hired, depending on your district's state test scores or building goals or parental pressures. That what you do is you have to have kids that perform well on certain tests, okay? Yes, that's a piece, right? We're accountable for that. It's not the only thing, okay? I know for a fact that if you talk to parents and community members and business leaders, that if you ask them what they want to see in their schools and their kids, it's going to be some of those 21st century skills: problem solving, critical thinking, all right, communication, empathy, hard work, show up on time. Never skipped class before? No, never, right? Okay, now here's a few of my absolutes I did, by the way, so you know. Learning with technology is messy, awfully messy. It's constantly changing, sometimes never working. Wi-Fi's down, computer won't turn on. Okay, rebooting again. 100 different apps need updating. Okay, screen's cracked, keys popping off. Kids looking at YouTube when he should be on this. Okay, messing with the settings, dimming it in and out. All right, putting the voice command on. Whatever these amazing kids do, right? My kids know more about, we have Chromebooks in our classroom. They know more about all those things than I do, and I will ever claim to know. All right, if anything goes wrong, they fix it. Okay, not me. All right. This is the Playful Learning Conference, right? Okay, and play can be described in lots of ways. All right. Okay. But however you define play, that's why there's the quotations around it. Okay? It leads to a deeper experience and deeper understanding. Okay? When kids explore, discover, and learn things on their own, it's much more meaningful. I've already mentioned this. There's me trying to be a gamer. Choice is the cheat code to student engagement. It really is. Okay? You want your class to be engaged. You want them to be sitting on the edge of their seat while they wait to get started. Just can't wait to get going. All right? Give them choice. Okay? All right. I was talking to Beth before this and Connor, and gamification is a word that they know really, really, really well. My understanding, it is taking a game-based theory and applying it in a classroom to achieve some type of learning outcome. Okay, so I'll share with you some of the things that I consider to be game-based learning or EdTech or playful learning. Before I do that, though, I want you to read this. I think it's pretty funny. This is, it's not an epidemic, right? But many kids are not as active as they used to be. Gaming world is a billion-dollar business, as you know, and it is where many kids spend their time socializing, collaborating, and learning. Okay? All right. Have you ever done the candle problem before? By Carl Dunker? Okay. I'm going to show you a picture, all right? On that picture will be a candle, matches, and a box of tacks. All right? The goal is to light the candle, affix it to the wall, stick it to the wall, and as the candle burns, the wax cannot hit the floor. Okay? Now that you have the context, think about how you do it. I like that. Despite standards and restrictions, there's always room to teach outside the box if you look for it. Yeah. Yeah. If you watch Sir Ken Robbins' TED Talk about how schools are killing creativity, check it out. You probably agree. Anybody have any ideas? You don't need to use the table as just to solve this, no? Yeah, you can. So, why show this to you? Okay? Solution, of course, is dump the tacks out, take 2 of them, stick them to the box, light the candle, put it in the box, let it burn all day, right? Okay? Kids are like that box. Oftentimes we see them for only what they are. This kid's only capable of this. All he can do is hold some tacks. All she can do is hold some tacks. Okay? But if you see kids for what they could be, flip your paradigm, flip the way you think about all kids, regardless of how crazy they may drive you certain days, because they will test you on purpose over and over again. Thought this was kind of funny. All right, so let's be strong. I told you about the the Leader in Me conference I just went to. What was awesome is the student participation, okay? So one of the days there was a panel of kids, and one of the girls was talking about how she was preparing for her time to go up there and speak and talk about what she believes and how this is helping her. She talked about a bulletin board in her school. It said, "I will," and a bunch of different words on there. And she said as she was leaving the school, she went over to it and she picked out one word. Picked out strong. Should have heard the adults in the room as she told this story. All right? She's in 2nd grade. Okay? Be strong. We need strength to work through this career. Okay. I think I've got time's supposed to be done. I need another half hour. Do I have it? You guys okay? Okay, want to hear some more? All right. Okay. I'm going to start rolling through a bunch of different things that I use in my classroom. Some I use more frequently. Some I've used years ago, depending on my kids. But we're at the start of our race here, okay? I picked that because that guy kind of looks like me. I think I'm better looking, but you guys can be the judge, okay? So, ready, set, go. Who's familiar with Go Noodle? Stumbled across this a couple years ago. There are school districts that are cutting elementary recesses to fit in more time to teach the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay? Well, if you work for a school someday that says, hey, you know what, you cannot take your kids out in the afternoon. You can have more time for reading. Okay? Use this website. Okay? All right? It's awesome. You can game it. Pick a character. Goes through 5 levels. You get points for doing the activities. You can sing, dance, kid Zumba, all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to do one here in just a minute. So I hope you brought your enthusiasm and a little bit of like courage to do something maybe you don't want to do. All right? Okay? Because sometimes you got to act in front of your kids. All right? So you got to like pretend as if it, is you, and maybe you're not so comfortable. But this is one of my favorite things to do during the day. We do it twice a day. All right? I do it during transition times. Transition times in the classroom, in an elementary classroom, are extremely difficult. Okay? Kids cannot conceptualize that we're still trying to move from one objective to the next. They see it as a free-for-all, and things go crazy. You give them some framework. You give them an objective. We're going to do this in like 30 seconds. Okay? All right? Things go a lot smoother. All right? And this is just a screenshot you can see on top there. We've done 1,496 minutes. And we've leveled up like, I don't know. You guys know? It's like 12 or 13 characters. There's like 16 of them. We had a class goal to beat the game. All right? They got great names. This is, Floppy Tuckler, or I don't know. They're crazy. They got like Bart Reynolds and I don't know. It's just Bart. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite ones. I love these guys. Okay, Cuckoo Kangaroo. Anybody familiar with them? Okay. Apparently they're going to be they're going to be at Summerfest. Warped Tour. Okay. Yeah. So I'd like you to stand up. Okay. You're going to need to be like in a space that you're going to be able to like move and do something, okay? Oh, here we go. All right, so this is called Popsico, all right? Oh, we need some volume. So here's how it works, okay? They'll do something. My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I Popsico, all right? And then we'll do it. Her hands are high, her feet are low, and this is how she Popsicos. All right, so just follow my lead. I might mess up, okay? I'm no expert, but it's a lot of fun, all right? Kids need a break. They need to be able to breathe and move. Their brains need oxygen. Great way to do it, all right? It's a free site. It's free, okay? So you're going to have like little to no classroom budget. You want to try to be able to do everything that's free. They do have a paid one now that is tied to like more academic things, tied to standards, okay? Which I'll check out in the future. But this is the free version. But my kids said, hey, check it out, there's a new one. And I'm like, okay, and then, yeah, of course, I got to buy it, right? And it's going to teach them instead of let's just be kids and have fun, all right?
Hey, Maximo.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, Kids Bop.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
Our hands are high, our feet are low, and this is how we popsicle.
Their hands are high, their feet are low, and this is how they popsicle. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Mick Pufferson.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, Fresh Start.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
Our hands are high, our feet are low, and this is how we popsicle.
Their hands are high, their feet are low, and this is how they popsicle. Popsicle, popsicle.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicle.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle.
Hey, Joanna,
Hey, what?
are you ready
For what?
to pop?
Pop what?
Popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
Her hands are high, her feet are low, and this is how she popsicles.
Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, hot dog,
Hey, what?
are you ready?
For what?
The pop,
Pop what?
popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
Her hands are high, her feet are low, and this is how she popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, class, are you ready to pop? Popsicle! Your hands are high, your feet are low, and show us how you popsicle. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle.
One more time.
Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle.
One more time.
Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Yeah! Everybody.
A little background, most of those characters you saw are ones that they can do in other activities. So there is a Popsicle original, that's 2.0. I think it's much more fun than the first one. So anyway, elementary teachers, middle school teachers, maybe you can get your middle schoolers to do that. High school teachers, I don't know, all right? Depending on how brave they are, okay? Wonderopolis, anybody familiar with this at all? Okay, yeah, well, yeah, all right. So we talked about the inquiry element of our school, my classroom, okay? This is one way that the kids are exposed to having a large, essential, big researchable questions, okay? The kids register, you can see down here, subscribe to the Wonder of the Day. They do that. Not every day do they check it. But what it does is it allows them to explore based on subject matter, grade level, all kinds of stuff. There's thousands and thousands of questions for them to read and hopefully answer, okay? What's cool is you can see that they've got the Explore Wonders, which is the place to go and dig and search other than what's the Wonder of the Day. What are you wondering? That section there, the kids can actually submit questions that they want to know about. Vote for Wonders. Okay, you want kids to do purposeful reading, all right? Have them go on there, they can read 1,000 wonders, vote on the ones they want to see Wonderopolis actually do, okay? And what you can't see is my favorite part of it, which is Camp Wonderopolis, okay? Connor's one of my campers. He's not earned a single card. All right, my 4 or 5 campers, most of them earned all 42 cards. Okay, you can see it's science-based, all right? The kids can start at any camp they want. Starts out with an essential question. There's like a little introductory video, okay? I call it Activating and Building Background Knowledge, okay? The kids read the article. They can have it listened to them, so if you're an ELL student or somebody who just doesn't want to read at that particular time, can have the computer read it to them. A little choppy, a little robotic, but you still get the point. There's a wonder wheel, all right? You spin it, all kinds of vocab on there, and there's a 6-question quiz. The first 3 questions are based on what they read in the article. They go back, look for details, find the answer. Great test prep, okay? All right? The last 3 questions, 4, 5, and 6, they're all about that vocab on the wonder wheel, okay? The kids can exit out of the quiz, go to the wonder wheel, check it out, answer it, okay? I can't tell you how excited the kids are to do this. Most of them have earned all 42 cards. Many of them have pre-registered for next year's 2015 Camp Wonderopolis, okay? I'm excited to see where they go, all right? So use it if you're going to be an element. And in middle school science or whatever, you could do this. The reading is not at a primary level. It's difficult, okay? My kids struggle with it, all right, working through it, okay? A lot of them do listen to reading or read with somebody, okay? But they get through it. In general, they comprehend it. They have great discussions. It leads to wonderful research beyond it. all right? So check that out, okay? It's free, all right? Ever heard of No Red Ink? Yeah, you can see it up there, all right? Just started using this year. There is a premium version. There's a free version. All right, you want to work on grammar and writing skills, this is the place to go. All right? There is a gaming element to it, so they got to practice first. Okay, they start out with 0%. Okay, obviously. Okay, as they answer the questions, the faster they answer them, and more correct, of course, the more points they get. So you answer the first one right within the first few seconds, you might get to 18% proficiency. Next one takes you a few minutes. Get it wrong, you might be back down to 4. Okay? You have to get it up to 100%. The higher you get, the more difficult the questions become, and the less points you get for getting it right. Okay? They go and do the assignment. They can have as many chances they want to answer the question, 5, 6, 7. After they're done, they check their progress. They can see all 20 questions, how many times it took them to answer it. Okay? Then they go back to their practice. If it took them a really long time, 3 or 4 times per question, then that 100% practice is now back on like 60 or 50, telling them, hey, we got to reteach this. You got to review this again. Okay? It's awesome. All right? I've not exhausted all of the free stuff. I'm going to look into the premium version next year. The kids will have a little bit more freedom in picking things for themselves based on their goals. They can't do that right now in the free version. Okay? So no red ink. This is what my dashboard looks like. All right? See, I've created the assignments. You can pre-test, you can quiz, all right? Lots of things, lots of data, okay? All right, so if your principal's asking for data, okay, what's this no red ink, what's this all about? Well, show them this, right? Show them the data, all right? Class Dojo. I love Class Dojo, all right? I know lots and lots of schools use this, all right? I have an individual account. Kids get an avatar. You get to create the avatar. They love doing it. It's all silly little blob monsters. Looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters. Most of them do, if you're familiar with Ghostbusters, okay? I have one up during the day. I have a Class Dojo account up and on my computer. So I've got a projector like this. I've got a Promethean board. Okay, it's a digital board. And when the kids are exuding leadership in the classroom, they're participating, they're working together, they're problem solving, I go up to the front, give them a point for being on task, and ding! You hear that in the classroom. Ding! How do the kids feel when they hear that? They love it, right? Positive reinforcement for what you're doing, okay? Now, the latter, they do have, all right, things aren't going great, talking out of turn, right, you can lose points. Again, the goal is to get as many points as you can. We set goals in the classroom. I think we're like at 200 something like that. Every time we reach a benchmark, have a little celebration, okay? That's Class Dojo. Now, I thought this was pronounced News ELA, okay? Like English Language Arts. It's actually pronounced Newsela. Who would have thought, okay? All right? This is awesome for those of you who have a wide range of reading abilities in your classroom, okay? If your unit is on informational text, nonfiction reading, you want kids to be up to speed on the news, this is a place to go, all right? The lowest, so if you want to check out this article in the Florida Everglades, okay? It will print that article in 5 different Lexile scores, 5 different reading levels, okay? So no matter if I'm reading the lowest Lexile or the higher, I'll still get the gist of the story, okay? The vocab's going to be harder. Questions might be more in terms of like author's purpose as opposed to like right there questions, okay? But you can assign this. Kids can check their progress, okay? And at the end of the day, we can have a whole group discussion regardless of what level you were reading on. It's pretty cool, all right? It's free. MobyMax. It's not free, okay? We use this in particular in my classroom for math. You can see they have expanded a ton. You can even see test prep is now being offered on MobyMax. We don't use it, but I'm sure it's great, all right? In my classroom for math, we've taken a personalized learning approach, okay? I call it the leveling up menu, okay? Level 1 is MobyMax, okay? The kids have to, so they take a pretest. So again, on personalized learning, the kids take a pretest. So all the kids are placed at a spot based on this one assessment that they should be at, okay? MobyMax assigns them the skills, the objectives to work through, and when they complete a lesson, they move up to level 2. okay? Level 2 is Khan Academy. I'm going to get to that later. You familiar with Khan Academy? All of you probably heard it, right? So when Khan started, free, right? Okay, the Gates Foundation funds it, okay? All right. Level 3 in the math leveling up menu is a bunch of like hands-on math activities, okay? Level 4 in math is create your own math lesson. You got to come over to school and check out some of these math lessons, okay? Some inhale quickly. They suck, absolutely, okay? But in general, most of them do not inhale quickly, okay? Most of the kids are thoughtful. They're pre-testing, they're post-testing, they're engaging kids, okay? And level 5 is like teach the lesson. Okay, it's fun to see these kids, again, giving them a leadership role. All right, now there is that little, I only go to my friends' lessons or this and that, and 4th and 5th grade kids get a little bit like if I go and attend Sarah's lesson, then, oh my gosh, they might think I like Sarah, okay? All right, there is some of that, but then that's our job, right, to make sure that stuff gets squashed, okay? There's Khan Academy. You can see all my students there, all right? Khan Academy is not just math. They got like art history on there. You want to learn like finance and your own banking, okay? You can go on here. If you're having a hard time in your college trade class, you can like search it, do it, earn some badges, grow your avatar. The kids love it, okay? Anytime they can have an avatar, it's a win-win. Online stopwatch, okay? I don't use this one, okay? I use one that's it's a pie, and when you start it, it grows and eventually blah, 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 okay? Kids need parameters. Kids need to know how much time do I have to work on this, okay? So I use this all day long, okay? 30 minutes here, 5 minutes here, hour for math. They can plan, okay? They know what to expect. Gets close to being done, they start picking up without me having to remind them. It's amazing. But there's like a swimming one, there's a running one, there's this snail one, and obviously if I had this playing, this would become what they wanted to do instead, okay? So check it out, it's called Online Stopwatch. There's a bunch of different things on there, okay? This is one of my newest and favorite websites. It's called Flocabulary, okay? It's not free. If you want to check it out, my username's Stewart at www.usd.com. Password is baseball. Check it out. Okay? All my kids use it. Next year, I promise Flocabulary, I'm going to buy everyone a $2. It's $2 per kid. I didn't realize this when I did it. You don't know what you don't know, okay? Hip-hop music, okay? That's what it's about, all right? So the kids get to log on. You can see there's a bunch of different content, vocabulary, language arts, social studies, science, math. A lot of great stuff. They're updating it every day with new things, all right? We're going to go there, all right? I'll let you determine whether you think it's fun or not, okay? So you can choose, all right? Connie, you still here? We good on the volume? So, the week in wrap. At the end of every week, they summarize the global issues going on in the world, okay? Vocabulary, one of my favorite ones. Language arts, self-explanatory, okay? Who wants to check out a week in wrap? Pick your favorite now. We'll go through all 7 of them. Whichever one has the most votes, we'll go into that. We'll vote again, and we'll finally watch one, okay? The week in wrap. Anybody want to see that? It's going to be tough to beat. Anybody want to see a vocabulary one? Language arts? Social studies? You guys are all know-it-alls. All right, you know what? Science, math, life skills. I'm going to click on them quickly so you can just see what they are. Okay, so you click on vocabulary, broken down by grade level. Language arts, all right, you can see the content there. Within there is a bunch of different other activities you can do, all right? So on and so forth with the rest of them. This one's new, as you can see, all right? We often forget about the whole child, right? That social emotional part, okay? The kids are not just data points, they're blood pumping, breathing, oxygen breathing people that have feelings, okay? Believe it or not, all right? So let's go to the week in wrap. We'll watch the most recent one, and you'll get the gist, all right?
It's Friday. Y'all know what time it is. Shout out to Houston Middle School in Germantown, Tennessee. This one's for you. Come on. First things first, for what it's worth, it's Flocab. We're doing this for Mother Earth. Mother Earth, y'all. Let's go. Yup, you heard me. Right. We're repping for Earth Day and repping for Earth Week. What? Like the Oregon teens who are suing their state, and I'll tell you what I mean. They're trying to force Oregon to take action on the climate change that is happening. Which takes us to Hawaii, where the cost of power is so high, people are like, why me? So they try to go solar, but the utility companies want to be the controller. Cause the solar power could overload the grid. Maybe they need to update the whole system, kid. And did you hear in the Gulf of Mexico, a research vessel that dove down extra low came back up with the tale of its close encounter with the giant sperm whale? And how about earthquakes in OK? It turns out they might be largely man-made due to wastewater injection. Now Oklahoma's government's making the connection. Next in news on the youth, there's been a huge rise in e-cig use. Some say at least tobacco is going down, but the effects of e-cigs could be profound. Now, big news from the FBI, the forensics labs being heavily scrutinized. Hundreds have been locked up and some face death, all cause of a hair match that's incorrect. But now let's head to space, to the largest structure we've ever discovered. But wait, it's 1.8 billion light years across, but it's a gigantic void, a cold spot. Last, you may have heard about the immigration crisis. In Europe, boats crash, killing hundreds of migrants. Refugees fleeing from poverty and war. Italy's trying to unite Europe to do more. It's Flocab, y'all know what we're here for. That's another week in rap, from us to you and yours. Yeah, like that, like that. Flocab. Oh.
Okay. To answer that back channel thing about ESL or ELL kids, they can. I'm going back to No Red Ink now. It is difficult, but they can do it with support. They need grammar, they need language, right? That's the reason why they are ELL students, okay? So, yeah, it's an absolute challenge, but they can do it, all right? What'd you think? Something I do? I think it was like $90, something like that. We use it every day, a lot. So, a lot of return on that investment. There's a quiz, all right? Most of them have a quiz, all right? All right, so the kids can do it. You can print them off if you want to. I try to go as paperless as I can. I use a lot of Google Docs, Google Drive stuff, but if you want to kill a few more trees on Earth Day, yeah. It was, yeah. Thank you for clarifying, yeah, yep. Well, to my knowledge, like I said, it's the first time I bought it. Yeah, I think I bought it like in January, and I think it'll run till the following January. So we won't take the quiz, it's not necessary, but I love it, all right? Kids love it, all right? It's like Will Smith rap, you're not gonna have any curse words in there, okay? So anyway, all right? You guys like Will Smith? Is he like way before you guys even know? He was a rapper, right? You guys know that? He's not just an actor, right? He tried to be, okay? Poll everywhere, okay? This is cool, all right? I could create one right now, literally in a few seconds, okay? And on your phone, you have a little code, text your response. The things can come up like in thought bubbles. They can come up in sequential order, all randomness. I use it for exit tickets a lot at the end of the day, okay? So like, the way my schedule works is my kids go to specials, and we usually have about 5 minutes at the end of the day, okay? The kids, we have a leadership binder, and in that binder, they take care of their attendance. We do something called PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention System. If you've been in our school, you've probably seen the colored clip chart. After they do that, there's always an exit ticket. Oftentimes, I use poll everywhere. It might be like the last few have been like, recognize somebody today for their leadership. Pick one student, recognize them for your leadership. And it's great to see the kids, and their name starts getting on the screen, how they kind of sit up taller, all right? They're proud. And yes, of course, the ladders, there are some students whose name isn't on there, all right? And then that's our job to make sure that we go around, go to that person and say, hey, you know what? I know you weren't there today, but I really appreciate what you did today, okay? You're a leader today, okay? All right? But you can do all kinds of stuff. You could do it in the middle science class. Have a response on there. Hey, you know what? What'd you learn about zygotes today or whatever you're teaching them, okay? This, Baba Dum, I believe it's pronounced, okay? I just found this year, okay? It's free. Again, the kids game it. There's a bunch of different activities the kids can do, but you want to acquire a new language or you want kids to strengthen English, we have a high ELL population in Whitewater Unified, okay? A lot of my ELL kids are using this, okay? It's visual, there's a picture, okay? It even reads to them, the words they have to choose from. There's spelling activities that go along with it. The kids can log in, create an account, earn as many points, and level up as many times as they need to, okay? They've got, you can see 14 different languages, 5 different games. It's a lot of fun. I will tell you, there are sometimes some pictures are a little bit risky, all right? There's been a bra picture, and the kids are like, oh my God, but you know what? It is what it is, right? Okay, so in general, most of the things are age appropriate. Great to learn a new language, okay? Class badges, all right? Earning badges is something that many schools and teachers have gone to. With Class Badge, so it's classbadges.com, okay? You can go in and create any badge you want. I've got like 30 of them created. Reading calendar badge. Math leveling up badge. I've got 7 badges for the 7 habits of highly effective students, okay? I award these badges to them when I feel they've earned that badge. Highly motivating. Can show parents at parent-teacher conferences. It's pretty cool. It's free, okay? Kids like to earn badges. They love positive reinforcement. This is the way for you to do it. That's my email address, by the way, if you want to write that down. Who knows Kid President? Man, if I had only met this kid, all right? He's the type of leader, the type of thinker that you want in your classroom, okay? I used to start every day with the Kid President video. It's kind of our way of gearing ourselves up for the day, okay? We've watched most of them. He's coming out with new ones. He's got a book coming out, okay? We haven't got it yet. All right, I need to buy it. We need to read it. He's pretty inspirational, okay? If you're ever having a bad day, your classroom's having a bad day, watch any Kid President video. Any of them. They're great, all right? The kid he oozes positivity. So, we're going to watch one, all right, called 20 Things We Should Say More Often. Okay? If you've seen it before, you're our resident expert.
20 things we should say more often. Number 20, thank you. And not just on Thanksgiving, every day. Number 19, excuse me. Number 18, here's a surprise corn dog that I bought you because you're my friend. There'll be more corn dogs and more happy people. This is a good idea. Corn dog for you, corn dog for you, corn dog for you. Number 17, I'm sorry. Number 16, I forgive you. Number 15, you can do it! But don't say it if it's something they can't do. Number 14, another thing that we should say more often, I have barbecue sauce in my shirt too. Before you say something about the barbecue sauce on somebody else's shirt, take a look at the barbecue sauce on your own shirt. Number 13, please. Number 12, everything is going to be okay. Number 11, oh, you got me a corn dog too? You shouldn't have, buddy. Number 10, I don't know. I know a lot of people who need to say that. My sister. Number 9.
Connor's informed me that I'm on a time limit. I had 45 minutes. We're now way past that. So time management is something I think I need to continue to put as a priority. So I'm going to try to rip through some of the next things here, okay? All right, so bear with me. I will share this with all of you. So at the end, you've probably already seen my email address. If you want to review it again, because we're going to go from what was that? I don't know. We were maybe at a 800 meter speed. Who's a track person here? Okay. I was trying to do 800 meter speed there. It's not quite a jog. It's not quite a sprint. Now we're going to go to 100 meter speed. We're going to go. All right. So, soul time, again, inquiry-based stuff. Gentlemen received the first $1 million investment from TED Talks to do this, all right? Brings this idea to low-income countries, basically how kids can self-organize, and they are capable of a lot of really good things without the interaction of an adult. The web is a great place for them to learn, okay? So check out Soul Time. It's awesome. We do it in my classroom, a little bit different, but you can modify it, okay? He has a website called School in the Cloud, okay? You can apply to be a granny. What that simply means is your job is to sit back and cheer, all right? So if you do Soul Time in your classroom and you go ahead and use the School in the Cloud, you can become a granny and just give all kinds of positivity to the groups that are working, okay? That's all it is, all right? Smarty Pins, all right? Uses Google Maps technology, all right? Started with 1,000 points. It's kind of like Trivia Crack. Who's my Trivia Crack people in here? All right? You can pick a category, okay? Sports, entertainment, whatever. And they give you clues. Based on the clues, you got to pin it on the map. So geography here, okay? The closer you are, the better you're doing. The more the game continues. The further away from you are, they deduct the points, and eventually your game ends, so you can start over, okay? All right? It's called GeoGuessr, all right? Same idea, all right? Drops you down. This time, instead of looking at a map, you're actually seeing, you know, all those Google cars have gone around and they've taken all those pictures. Well, this time, you see the landscape. You can walk around, look at signs, okay, look at geography, all right? And based on that, you can make a guess. And again, how close you are or accurate you are, the more the game continues, all right? It's pretty cool, all right? You've already seen that I use TED a lot. I've already begged, borrowed, and steal lots of ideas from TED. Watch them, all right? It's awesome. I hope to speak at a TED someday. That would be like my end in mind. It would be awesome, okay? TED Ed, they got lessons on here, okay? You can create your own. Again, I borrow most of the ones that have already been created on there, okay? They're really, really good. You can't always find something that you want, but whatever your learning objective is, this is a place you should always stop, okay? If it's not there, move on to the next one, okay? We've got to be resourceful, all right? There's me, Twitter. Lots and lots of people using Twitter in the classroom. I'm new to Twitter relatively. I don't do any Facebook. Not because I don't like it, just because I haven't found a way to use it in my classroom. I don't use it in my personal life. But anyway, if you want to follow me on Twitter, or you find a way to use Twitter in the classroom, I've actually been to different conferences where like kindergarten students are actually on Twitter, and they're reading different tweets, and they're tweeting out, and they're doing things in which allows them to get to do purposeful, authentic reading. Okay, all right? So there's me. Yeah, that's me, not my daughter. So anyway, Remind 101. Has anybody ever heard of this before? 140 characters, just like Twitter. One-way communication. So those of you who don't want to do like newsletters every Friday, you want to make sure the parents are like up to speed, up to that minute. Okay? It's like a 6-digit code filled with numbers and letters. They text that to a generic number, syncs you up to your account, send out a 140 character or less message. Field trips. Here's something cool we did in the classroom today. Ask your kid about it. Homework's due tomorrow, project next week, whatever you want to do. It's called Remind 101. There's a leader in me, all right? Basically, it's a framework. It's a culture building philosophy. Check it out. If you don't want to check out the leader in me, check out the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Students. It's awesome. It's my new passion, okay? That and golf and my family. Learn Zillion. Anybody familiar with this? Okay. English, language, arts, math. You have a student who needs acceleration, review. You want to be able to provide some type of reteach with a video component. Learn Zillion's a place to go. All right? All you have to do is enter the code. Kids can go right here, enter the code you can see at the top, takes them right to the lesson. As long as they're a part of your class, your dashboard, you can check their progress, intervene as necessary. Brain Pop. This is a paid website that our school does. It's awesome. It's growing each and every year. There are assessments that now go along with Brain Pop. But again, voice and choice. Okay, kids want to do some what I call listen to reading. Go on to Brain Pop, throw in the closed caption, learn about something cool, read the follow-up question, play the game, have fun. Be a kid. Okay, Genius Hour. Oh, I wish I could play this for you. Okay, if only I was better at managing time. Okay, Genius Hour comes from Google. Okay, if you're familiar with this, the 20% project, passion project from Google. Okay, if you're not, it's now filtered its way into classrooms. So someone on here was talking about finding time to be innovative, finding time to do other things. Well, this should not be the other thing, it should be what you do. Okay? Just go home, or when you leave here, just Google Genius Hour, watch this video, it does a really good job explaining it. There's 3 parameters. Okay, kids have to have a question. Okay, have to research it. Okay, have to share it with the world. It's that simple. And you want to do engaging things in your classroom, giving kids voice and choice. Again, there are parameters. There are many lessons in which you're doing. It's not just show up, build a rocket, and don't tell me how you were able to do it. Okay? All right, but check out Genius Hour. Okay? We were going to watch it, but I'm being told that I'm over. Today's meet, you're already seeing it in action. I use it in the classroom in various ways. One of my favorite ways to do it is if we're watching a video, I throw up a back channel so the kids like turn and talking and like disrupting people listening. They have their conversations on here. This is new to me within the last couple of weeks. It's called SumDog. okay? 2 or 3 teachers shared it with me. Everyone knows I'm into text. Every time they find something cool, it's a great thing, right? Collaboration amongst your colleagues is something you have to have, right? They're your best friends. They're the people that can help you expand your knowledge base on all kinds of stuff. You can see in the bottom corner, there's 709 skills, math and ELA. There's games, you can compete against your class, your school, and other schools around the country, okay? Who's familiar with QR codes? Man, I went through a phase where that's all I did. Putting them on bulletin boards, book reviews, putting them up in the classroom, quick response, scan it. We used to have a bunch of iPads in the classroom. That's why I loved it. Gotten away from it, but real quick, you want a kid to find a website and like typing skills are not so good? Kindergarten teachers, they can push an app, scan it, and off they go. All right? My kids have actually written book reviews in a QR code creator. Print out the book title, they write the book review, stick it on there, slam it up on the wall. Hey, Mr. Stewart, I don't know what to read. Have you looked at the book reviews lately? Nah. Okay, scan it up, check it out, make a recommendation, okay? Anybody's into coding? This is Alice. It's designed specifically for girls in particular, okay? Women and minorities are underrepresented in many STEM industries, so this is a push for that. Scratch, Connor's been informing me on many other ones that help with beginning to code and things of that nature, but Scratch is one that I've used in the past and the kids have had success with. GameStar Mechanic, learn to design video games. Toondoon, world's fastest way to create cartoons, and kids love cartoons. You want kids to write? Here's a way to do it. Who's familiar with Wordles? Yeah, all right. You want to talk about like key vocabulary and things like that? Have a kid go on Wordle. The more times you put the word in there, the larger the word becomes. When I look at your Wordle, I should be able to see how important those words are to the story you just read, based on the size that they are. And you're all creative, make up something else, okay? It's awesome, it needs Java, but you can really use this in a lot of ways, okay? Same thing, all right? This one actually, you can like make like rockets out of the words, hearts, all kinds of stuff, okay? So like you want to, I don't know if a kid's doing an inquiry on rocket ships and he wants to describe it through this, the words can be put together to form a rocket on that, okay? Blabberize. Really simple, upload a picture, cut the mouth, voiceover. You know, if a kid's doing a story on Abraham Lincoln, he can cut Abraham Lincoln, mouth, speak like him. Kind of cool, okay, all right. KidRex is one of my favorite, Safe Search is another one, okay, but KidRex is designed by Google, as you can see. Kids aren't going to get any things that you don't want their eyes to see with KidRex, as they do with regular Google. I type in the word fox, Robin Fox, the word fox, and I go to an image search. I see the animal, and I see scantily dressed women. It's true, okay? Not here, okay? Here's some of my other favorites. Again, I'll share this with you. Some I use a lot, some I don't. YouTube at the bottom, it's a great source, okay? Last point, I've given you a lot of things. Hopefully you found it beneficial. Hopefully you will leave here and want to see this again. You want to come over and visit me at school, not just me, but the great people I work with, okay? Because I'm not the only person who's qualified to speak here today, all right? Let's have one understanding, okay? Technology has not, cannot, and will not replace the most important tool in your classroom, okay? Research tells us that the most important thing in a classroom is the classroom teacher. So no matter how many cool tools you got and how new your building is, this is what matters, okay? It's all about you. There's my information. We're trying to work with these 21st century kids. My class motto is explore, discover, and learn, okay? Thank you for letting me go way over today. Wow, all right?
So, as you can see, Justin is one of the most resourceful people I know. There's a lot out there, but I just chose me to come off a little bit early, but we wanted to show you guys all of the awesome presentations we got later coming up. Yeah, once again, thank you, Justin.